I suppose I'm in love with the idea of travel. Wherever the white road winds, I'm after it.
And this is literally endless.
People often ask me my favourite place in the world, and I like to reply, the next place I'm going to.
That's extraordinary.
Isn't the excitement of travelling and having an eye on new horizons often as rewarding as the destination itself?
Fantastic. Extraordinary journey.
In this series, I'm gathering my traveller's tales and retelling them, bundled up with new detail and inside information, and condensed into postcard form. I've got maps and travel books all over my study, and I'm always looking at them and always thinking of somewhere fascinating to visit and somewhere extraordinary to explore. But sometimes places that seem to be quite well known and familiar to us all are absolutely fascinating to visit. For instance, take Greece. Take mainland Greece. Take Greece in its entirety. Everybody thinks, but I know Greece. I mean, we know a bit of Greece. We know white buildings, little churches, and the very blue sea and the blue and white flag. We know the Parthenon. Yeah, we know Greece. But actually, even people who've been to Greece a lot, even Greek people, don't know all the extraordinary corners and all the extraordinary things that country holds. So I thought, let's go to Greece and let's do Greece properly. But being me, I want access to all the places that you can't get. Access all areas is what I want. I want that badge. And I want to get to places that other people can't get to. You know, extraordinary places, frightening places, sacred places. And so, where better to start than Athens and the Acropolis? Today, 1 million people visit the Acropolis each year, making it one of Greece's most popular tourist attractions. Fantastic, so many people, so many tourists for this incredibly popular place. I got to tread where the tourists aren't allowed and take you with me up close to see how this wonder is being rebuilt. It's an architectural masterpiece made up of 15,000 pieces weighing 20,000 tons. This is the largest ancient building created entirely from marble. It's always extraordinary to come to a building that you know so well from pictures and drawings and imitations around the world, just to come and stand in it and to be in this great temple. Oh, look, here's the person I'm longing to meet.
Oh,
Hello,
Joanna. How are you?
Dr. Ioannidou is in charge of the restoration project. They have a huge task. Each piece of original marble must be refitted with new, freshly sculpted pieces to link together the ancient parts. You do this every day.
Don't look down. Don't look down.
The restorers working at these perilous heights are involved in their most delicate project, protecting the marble that has been ravaged by pollution and previous botched restoration work. Is this water?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's water. To remove the dust.
Yes. This is quite extraordinary because here we are on one of the most colossal, monumental buildings in the world. And look at the size of these tools that are being used, like a dentist's pick.
Yes, there are dentists. They are dentists.
They are dentists.
They are dentists too. And also this.
Oh, look at this. The love and care that the modern Greeks are lavishing on this matchless monument are just what this glorious building deserves. From the White House in Washington to the Bank of England in the City of London, its architecture has been slavishly copied, a symbol of the importance of Greek culture throughout the world. Almost the greatest dread of my life is vertigo. As a child, I once got stuck on a ladder, and my sister had to come and help me down. I was about 7. I got stuck, and she had to move every finger and every foot to take me down. So coming up here, I felt that, quite frankly, I was doing it for the viewers. That's you, because I love you. I suppose I'd sort of got in my mind, why should I? But anyway, I did, that Greece is beach holidays, and I'd forgotten about the mountains and the extraordinary interior, and of course, the great myths and legends of ancient Greece. What an extraordinary... most of our life is built on what Greece was. But my next postcard isn't going to come from the Valley of the Muses, or even from the great Mount Olympus. It's going to come from a little village called Nia Agathopoulos, where my gorgeous fixer and guide and friend Eleni took me to an ancient fortune-telling festival. Quite strange and pretty vulgar, so if you blush easily, look away now. On the village green, Elaine is introducing me to some of the members of the local women's association who've organised the fortune-telling festival, including her mother.
My mom, Tula.
Tula. Items which have been collected from all the women in the village are placed in a pot of water, or klidonas. Later on, each object will be drawn from the pot and a poem or rhyme read out, sometimes quite rude, supposed to foretell the future of the owner. As the sun goes down, the entire population of the village gathers in eager anticipation of what has become an annual entertainment.
Ανάμεσα στα πόδια σου υπάρχει μια ντομάτα. Βάζω κι εγώ τα κούρι μου να κάνουμε σαλάτα.
Eleni's mother is vice president of the Women's Association and master of ceremonies.
Ρόδα και τριαντάφυλλα σου στέλνω στη γιορτή σου και μια κορδέλα κόκκινη να δέσεις το... Δεν τα πω.
It's very vulgar.
It is mine.
But this mixed crowd finds it funny and completely inoffensive. The Greek sense of humour has much in common with Chaucer.
Μ' αρέσει το κολαράκι σου, το μητερόβιζί σου και έτσι αποφάσισα να σου.
Oh my God, that's my mom. Please stop.
Although the Klidonas festival, celebrated throughout the region, originates in the worship of ancient Greek gods, today it seems to be more of an excuse for a party. The garlands that decorated the village doors in May are taken down, dry and dusty, at the end of the harvest and thrown onto the bonfire to symbolise the end of the farmer's year. To ward off evil spirits and celebrate the future, boys from the village leap the bonfire, quite often singeing their hair and clothes.
It's just strangely scary. The idea of the lost shoe and the kind of the burnt trouser, you know, everything. Where do we put these on now? You come with me.
No, don't jump. Just throw it into the fire.
We have to jump.
You have to jump. Okay, try it.
Take my hand. Take my hand. 1, 2, 3.
Fortune-telling and predicting the future are at the heart of Greek culture, and not just teasing your neighbour with some rude rhymes. Some of them were so rude. Honestly, I could feel myself, in translation, going crimson, going, oh, shocked. All the old grannies going, hee, 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 thought it was fabulous. We took a trip from fabulously modern Greece to the ancient seat of the oracle. This is Delphi. And this is where the oracle lives. And there's a huge resonance about this valley. It's fantastic. It seems extraordinary that 100 years ago, this sacred site, in the shadow of Mount Parnassus, was hidden from the world, covered by 30 feet of earth, with a village built on top. When the French excavated it, they were astonished and delighted to find a ruined city of 3,000 statues, monuments, and temples.
These steps would have been alive with pilgrims plodding up their last weary way at the end of this immense journey to come to the place they'd been longing to see, the Temple of Apollo.
This is how the Temple of Apollo would have looked in ancient times. The most important decisions in ancient Greek history were made by the oracle, who sat underground in the center of the temple. But scientists today have discovered that the site was built on the top of an ancient fault line, which emitted hallucinogenic gases.
And look here. Now, I've been told about this. This is where the Delphic oracle had her tripod seat. The legs of the tripod were there. So her seat, this was obviously that way around. The seat was here. And here in front is the hole through which the methane or ethanol gas or came hurtling out. Anyway, some sort of mind-altering gas. And she was sitting on here. Some people say she was chewing daphne leaves. Whatever it was, she was in a complete trance and a complete stewed state. And so what people asked her, she was actually talking in tongues. And funny enough, I've seen this up in the high hills of Hunza in the Karakorums, where they inhale juniper smoke. So people became high as kites. And this prophetess, this seer, this oracle, was high as a kite and couldn't even speak her own language. She was just gibbering. And priests listened and interpreted. And people came and said, should we go to war? Is this a wise thing to do? Should I get married? Should our countries separate? Should we fight with this city? And the oracle would and the priests would interpret it. So the priests were terribly important, terribly influential. But the oracle was the thing. She was always a woman over 50. And she was called Pythia, named after the python, which is what Apollo slew. I know this sounds complicated, but it's absolutely fascinating when you can get your head around it, which I almost have. I'll just take a whiff of this, then I could probably speak to you in tongues. I can't tell you how thrilling it is to visit a place that you've known about since your childhood. I remember reading about the Delphic oracle when I was still at school. And then to go to Delphi and to see it positioned up on the side of this huge, steep gorge which leads down to the sea. And then from the sea, if you're a pilgrim or somebody petitioning, shall I go to war? Should I leave my wife? Should I buy an ox? You would see these temples right up there amongst the gods. You'd know that your prayers might be answered. Next, a postcard from someone I would call a Greek goddess. And me on a stairway to heaven. Do you know that voice? Do you know who that is? That's Nana Mouskouri, singing in 1967. She was astonishing. I saw her on television when I was a child, and I was so taken with her long, shiny, dark hair, great dark horn-rimmed glasses, which were quite unfashionable. And she was just incredible. She had this voice of an angel, and she went on to become the biggest, not one of, the biggest female singing star of all time. She made over 200 records and she sang in 10 different languages. She was truly a global superstar. But the one place she'd never sung and where she longed to was the ancient theatre of Epidaurus, which the Greeks called Epidaurus. Oh, look at this!
Isn't that wonderful?
Epidaurus was built in the 4th century BC to honour the god of healing Asclepius, son of Apollo. It was a sanctuary to cure the sick, and for the Greeks, theatre was part of the medicine. There were comedies, singing contests, and great tragic plays. You can be heard all over the auditorium by an audience of 15,000, especially if you stand bang in the middle of the stage.
Have you sung here?
No, I haven't had this honor really, which was, it's the dream of every singer.
Trained as a classical singer, the young Nana was cast to sing in the chorus of an opera here. But at the last moment, she was dismissed simply because she was considered to be a pop star.
The acoustics are so special. Can we test them? You don't think you'd sing?
Should I try?
Will you please try?
Okay.
Nana,
I'll try. I don't know what to do. I did not rehearse. I did not know my voice. But it's a pleasure. Yes, I will do it.
Miss Mouskouri, this is your 5-minute call.
Okay.
I should be able to hear Nana perfectly right up at the back, 200 feet away. The shape of the theatre and the use of limestone rock reflect the sound perfectly.
So, Joanna, I'm on the right spot. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Nana.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Maria, gratia plena, Maria, gratia plena.
I first saw Nana Mouskouri when I was in my teens, I suppose. I mean, I didn't see. And it's just so odd as life goes by that you get to meet some of these great gods.
Ευχαριστώ πολύ. Ευχαριστώ.
It's extraordinary without any rehearsal or any orchestra. Well, that was something to be in Epidaurus and to hear Nana Mouskouri singing for a tiny house on a Monday evening, but just sort of in the lap of the gods. When you're making a filmed series like this, you have to arrange to meet people, important people like Nana Mouskouri. And actually, we always try to plan to see who we're going to speak to next. We went down to the Mani Peninsula to speak to a young man who lived in an abandoned village. But when we got there, not only was the village abandoned, he'd abandoned the village. He'd gone off to Athens to do something, I don't know, go to a nightclub or something. We went, oh, who should we talk to? Just at that moment, we saw Kyria Antonia walking by the roadside, very little old woman. She was his mother. So we said, let's talk to her. Let's talk to Kyria Antonia.
Γεια σας.
Γεια σας. Προχωράει ο δρόμος κι άλλο συνεχίζει.
Όχι.
Τελειώνει.
Τελειώνει μέχρι πάνω στο σπίτι μου.
It's a dead end.
And so no cafe or anything, nowhere we can get a cup of coffee or stop or eat something.
Περάστε από το σπίτι μου να πιείτε καφέδαση.
But she just invited us. We can have a coffee at her house.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Ναι. Τώρα είμαστε ωραία εδώ.
Tell me, what's it like in the winter here?
Εδώ μόνη είμαι εγώ το χειμώνα. Ανεβαίνει ένα παιδί και με κάνει παρέα, το παιδί μου δηλαδή.
It must be very cold and there's no... What does she live on?
Μαζούνε κάνα χορταράκι, κάνα σπαράκι, την περνάμε. Αυτά τα τρώμε, αυτά. Αλλά όχι τώρα, μικρά που είναι, μικρά. Τα καθαρίζουμε με λεμόνι, με φρικατσέ. Μυρίζει όμως λίγο, μυρίζει λίγο.
Very strong, beautiful.
Αλλά όταν βγαίνουνε,
Aromatic.
Τώρα είναι μεστομένα βέβαια, έχουν μεστώσει.
Oh well, I'm not fussy. Kyria Antonia lives a solitary life in this abandoned village.
The village is empty, not because of the blood feuds which erupted here, but because of urbanization. Everybody simply moved away. And Kyria lives this solitary, brave, fearless existence. I couldn't do it.
Gosh, what slim pickings.
Για θα δούμε
Looking for little strands of wild asparagus. A pick? Yeah,
Το κόψαμε.
that one, this one. Wild asparagus.
Well, Kyria obviously has got a much sharper eye because she can see exactly what she's looking for. And I just hope that we get enough together so we can have a little supper, which she's promised to cook me.
Θα τα αφήσουμε να βράσουμε.
The wild asparagus is cooked in the simplest possible way. Boiled for 10 minutes in water, a little bit of salt, and then it's almost ready to serve, except for one last vital ingredient.
Lemons as sweet as oranges. Huge, beautiful lemons.
Σ' αρέσουνε? Ωραία,
It's absolutely beautiful. Kyria, why do you still stay here when there's nobody here?
Αγαπάω το χωρό. 50 χρόνια είμαι.
Μ' αρέσει πολύ. Χοϊρό.
Kyria, would you ever like to live in a city?
2 χρόνια. Πήγα πάνω στην πόλη.
Did you like it?
Όχι. Εδώ μονάχα.
Kyria, do you get lonely here?
Όχι. Δεν φοβάμαι καθόλου τίποτα.
Well, that was remote, but the next place we went to was honestly out of Game of Thrones. When you come around the corner and begin to see them, you go, oh, what is this? These are places so unbelievable. You can't really climb up them. You have to, food is taken up in baskets. They've got no water. They've got no electricity. What? What are they doing? It was actually fabulous. Just when I thought Greece couldn't be any more surprising, we come across one of the most extraordinary places in the country. These incredible rock formations were made by river sediment when the area was underwater millions of years ago. Weathering by water, wind and extremes of temperature then moulded them into the kind of bizarre shapes we see today. In the 14th century, Christian monks fled into the hills to avoid persecution from the Turks. They built 24 monasteries on top of these phenomenal rocks. And everything, monks, materials and supplies, had to be winched up on ropes. I've travelled pretty widely, but I don't think I've ever been to a more extraordinary place than this. I can't think of a better place to end my fantastic journey through this country. Do you wish you were here? Then go! Join me next time for more postcards from my travels.
Well, next tonight, solving a troubling case in the last in the series, we'll go inside the major crimes team with the detectives. There's new drama on Sunday here on ITV. Geordie and Sydney team up to solve another mystery in Grantchester at 9.